Have you ever felt like the silence around you was louder than any noise? That the quiet moments you spend alone aren't signs of emptiness, but of something deeper? Picture this. The hum of life fades, the screens go dark, and all that remains is the sound of your own breath. In a world that glorifies connection, constant chatter, and relentless visibility, what if solitude is not a punishment, but a privilege? This is not a popular idea. In fact, we're conditioned to avoid being alone. From childhood, we're taught to socialize, to blend in, to always be surrounded. Loneliness, we're told, is something to fear. It signals failure, social inadequacy, even emotional instability. But Arthur Schopenhauer saw it differently. He believed that solitude wasn't just acceptable, it was necessary for the development of a truly independent mind. Modern society celebrates extroversion and punishes introspection. The louder you are, the more you are heard. The more you share, the more you are validated. But what happens when you stop sharing? When you disconnect, not from life, but from noise? Schopenhauer believed that those who seek wisdom will eventually walk alone. Not because they are unlovable, but because they see too clearly. Solitude is often mistaken for sadness, but there is a profound difference between being alone and being lonely. The first is a state of choice, the second, a state of deprivation. Think of Emily Dickinson, who spent most of her life in solitude and left behind verses that echo through the ages. When you embrace solitude, you begin to hear your own voice more clearly. Not the voice shaped by others, but the one that whispers in stillness, away from expectation and performance. In solitude, there is space to think. Real thinking, not reacting. Schopenhauer argued that most people are so deeply influenced by the collective mind that they lose their ability to form original thoughts. Only in separation can we reclaim that clarity. In fact, he claimed that the more intelligent a person is, the more they are drawn to solitude. This might sound elitist, but it isn't about superiority. It's about inner alignment. Many people surround themselves with others not out of love, but out of fear. Fear of their own mind, fear of reflection. Because when you're truly alone, you have to face yourself, your doubts, your past, your mortality. And not everyone is ready for that. Think about how we use noise to drown out discomfort. Music, podcasts, social media, constant conversation. Even in moments of silence, we reach for distractions. Because silence exposes us. It forces us to listen to the questions we'd rather ignore. But Schopenhauer believed those questions were sacred. He saw solitude as the soil in which self-knowledge grows. Without it, we risk becoming mere reflections of others' expectations. He wrote, "A man can be himself only so long as he is alone. Surrounded by others, we play roles. Alone, we meet our truth." There is a strange comfort in embracing your own company. It's like returning to a long-lost friend you didn't know you missed. You realize that your value doesn't depend on how many people you can entertain or impress. That peace is not found in applause, but in presence. You begin to understand that real strength is the ability to stand alone and still feel whole. This doesn't mean cutting people out or retreating from the world. It means not needing them to define you. When you enjoy your own presence, relationships become choices, not necessities. You stop clinging. You start selecting. You become intentional. Some of the greatest minds in history lived in solitude. Not because they were antisocial, but because they understood that noise dilutes depth. Michel de Montaigne, for instance, retreated to his tower to write essays that still resonate centuries later. Not to escape life, but to examine it. In the quiet of his library, he pondered human nature, mortality, and truth, and those thoughts continue to guide us. Solitude sharpens perception. When the world gets quiet, the mind becomes louder, but in a good way. You start noticing patterns. Your thoughts untangle, emotions settle, Decisions clarify. There is no need to perform, no one to impress. Just you, raw and real. Of course, there is discomfort, but that discomfort is growth. You might feel isolated at first, but with time, that isolation becomes sovereignty. You begin to own your space, your time, your energy, and more importantly, you protect it. Solitude is the opposite of neediness. It's a statement of sufficiency. It says, I am enough, even in stillness. And ironically, that kind of energy attracts others, not out of desperation, but from a place of authenticity. People are drawn to those who are self-possessed. But solitude also reveals who and what no longer serves you. It highlights toxic patterns, draining relationships, and hollow routines. And because you're no longer distracted, you see things for what they are. Clarity replaces attachment, and with clarity comes liberation. Schopenhauer didn't romanticize loneliness. He understood its weight, but he also knew its worth. He believed that the highest form of human existence was one of contemplation and self-mastery, and that requires space. Space away from noise, comparison, and conformity. There's a reason why so many fear solitude. It strips away the masks. Without an audience, who are you? Without approval, what do you believe? These are not comfortable questions, but they are necessary. Because at the end of the day, we must all return to ourselves. In your final moments, it won't be the number of contacts in your phone or the likes on your posts that matter. It will be the relationship you built with your own soul. Did you ever really know yourself? Did you ever allow silence to teach you? There's a quiet kind of power that comes from solitude, a dignity, a presence that cannot be manufactured. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. You become the author, not the echo. And isn't that what we all seek? Not just to exist, but to live with intention. To know ourselves beyond roles, beyond achievements, beyond applause. To wake up and feel aligned, even when no one is watching. Solitude is not exile. It is sanctuary. It is where you meet the parts of yourself that the world is too loud to hear. And once you've heard them, you cannot go back. You can no longer settle for noise. You crave depth. So if you find yourself alone, don't rush to fill the space. Sit with it. Listen. Learn. Imagine the silence like a gentle fog that softens the noise of the world and amplifies the voice within. There is something there, a whisper, a pull, a truth, and it belongs to you alone. Because in the end, the most meaningful conversations you'll ever have won't be with others. They'll be with yourself, and those conversations can only happen in solitude. So cherish it, guard it, return to it. Not because you hate the world, but because you've finally started loving yourself. And if this message found you at the right time, maybe it's because you're ready to stop running from the silence and start listening to what it has been trying to say all along. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and check out the next video we've picked just for you. Until then, take care of your inner world. It's the only one that's truly yours.